Okay, hi everyone. So you are all welcome to the Unlocking African Market series of webinar. And I think the last webinar we had was we're talking about global food trade. And this time around, we had to actually change our gear to look at a very pressing issue in the West African region of the continent, the western part of the continent, talking about mining. And we've been able to assemble a group of very, how do I call them now, highly professional individual to come and actually talk and share their experience and expertise with us. And I have no doubt that we are going to have a good time today. So you are all welcome. I'll be introducing them in a while. I'll be introducing them shortly. So you are welcome. So this is Unlocking African Market. Unlocking African Market is powered by Basilia Group. And Basilia Group, basically, we are into the promotion of trade and investment in Africa, in intra-trade and investment. And as you know, this is actually in tandem with the African Union Commission policy of promoting trade and investment in Africa, trying to encourage African to Africa kind of trade, and seeing how we can do that in a very conducive environment. So we do series of webinar, we do quarterly webinar, and the idea is for us to share information with experts and to look at what is possible across the continent in terms of how trade and investment can be made possible. So yeah, so we are based in Cape Town, and that's our office address and the phone number you have there on your screen. Yeah, so this webinar basically is informed by some of the new policy initiative of some of the African government in trying to look at how they can address some of the challenges as far as mining is concerned in West Africa. And we are going to be looking at them. We look at the overarching theme, unlocking investment opportunities in West African mining sector. And we are also going to be looking at some of the sub-themes just to make sure that we're actually speaking to the situation. I mean, now, but the most important thing about this webinar I must tell you is that we will try, as usual, to make it as interactive as possible, so that amongst the panelists there will be interaction. Also, we'll try and allow one or two questions from our participants. So meet our panelists. We have a panelist in the her name is Mrs. Bosse Olabi, is the managing director of Dukia Gold. I'm still going to give them time to introduce themselves. And we are very, let me say, fortunate to really have her here. She had to take time out of her busy schedule to be here with us today. You are welcome, madam.
Thank you, Steve. And good day, everybody.
Thank you. So we also have Mr. Adebola Adetola here. Mr. Adetola Adebola is an expert of many years of experience and currently working as a consultant. And he is based in South Africa, but originally a Nigerian. He's a practitioner of so many years of experience, over 22 years thereabouts. So we are really very fortunate to really. I'm personally happy that we're able to. I got hold of him actually. He's the kind of person that he doesn't want to come out and show the skill. So I said, no, bros, you have to come and display for us and just let us see what is possible as far as mining is concerned. People are asking questions and they want to know where to invest, how to do it. So from the experience, I believe we are going to gain a lot from what Mr. Adebola has to offer. You are welcome to the webinar, sir.
Oh, thanks, Steve. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, great. So, and then we have Mr. Kwaku Travi, who is consulting currently for Goldrich Ghana. And like one of my friends who actually has met him one-on-one was telling me that he's a man of great ideas and initiatives. And when I read his profile also, I think he's one of the experts that I believe we're going to really enjoy his presentation today. So you are welcome, Mr. Kaputrevi.
Yes, thank you very much. My pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. Okay, so, and then we also have the last but not the least, is Eddie Pisne, who happens to be a special assistant to an assistant minister in the Republic of Liberia. He will be, we're still waiting for him to join us, but we'd like him to look at what is happening in the mining sector in Liberia as far as financing and some of the government policy initiatives surrounding the sector is concerned. Okay, so we're going to be taking on our first panelist now. I'm going to be calling on Bosse Owolabi from Dukia Gold to give us a presentation. You will do a brief introduction of yourself. Nobody can introduce you better than yourself. So then you go into your presentation. Over to you, Bosse.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bosse Owolabi. I will work for Dukia Gold, a chartered accountant, and I have an MSc from Cranfield University. I am now working for Dukia Gold as a managing director. And we've been working on a project which we started over 7 years. I have just about 7 minutes to talk, so I will quickly go through the slides and speak more about Dukia Gold than about myself, because I think that is more beneficial. So Dukia Gold is a licensed refining company. We operate in line with OECD guidelines and LBMA standards. Dukia Gold's first priority is to refine raw materials in Nigeria and refine to world-class LBMA standards. We are a responsible gold sourcing organization, and we've set out to be the #1 local marketplace for precious metals. We are the go-to place for refining and production of good delivery, finished gold bullion bars, coins, including jewelry, and bulk precious metals, which will be used for industrial and commercial purposes. Dukia Gold is an aggregator of raw materials, precious metals for refinement and production in high-class international grade bullion. We are creating a transparent virtual markets and physical buying centers, which is and in doing this, we're working with some banks. This is basically to make sure that the reach is wide, and whoever has gold or other precious metals to offer from any part of Nigeria or the West and Central African region can reach out to us using our platform. We are working with small-scale mining companies and the companies with proven reserves. And we're sourcing through, we also have another source of raw materials, which is the recycled gold. We call it our urban gold mining initiative, where we encourage people to monetize their gold assets that are not being put to useful purposes. So we also have international partners in UK and in Canada. Bed & Co is one of them. And this task with with making us compliant with LBMA standards from day one. We all know that the success of gold and precious metals mining and other parts of the gold mining value chain business hinges on the ability to raise requisite capital. So we have the private equity firms, issuing houses, banks, and USTDAs the regulatory approvals that are in place, empowerment of potential users and supporting parties, availability of necessary infrastructure, and the quality of institutions involved. So looking at the mining value chain, we're talking about the exploration, the mine design and development, the actual mining, which is the artisanal mining, and the ones, the tier 1 miners. So that's the first part of the trade. And then there's the mineral processing, the beneficiation and doré production, and refining and upgrading, and value addition, which is refining to good delivery bullion status. So we also have the value addition, which includes financial trading. Basically, what we're trying to do is to look at to expand the horizon in Africa, so such that we can begin to participate and deal with gold just like it's done in other climes, and we are not just restricted to bringing out the precious metals in whatever form, and not being able to further process, making us to lose a lot of value in Africa. So there is also the aspect of technical services, logistics, vaulting, and the laboratory services. These are all areas in the value, in the mining value chain that require attention. So this is just looking at gold production and reserves in Africa, the countries that have reserves. And these are the top 20 global exporters of gold. And this is the 2019 statistics. We can see that just a few African countries feature in this. There's South Africa and there's Ghana. And we all know that this is not a true reflection of the actual trade of Africa, but there are several leakages that make, and the fact that data capture is not also effective. People smuggle out the minerals that are mined in Africa, hence they are not reflected in these statistics. So looking at Nigeria, not a lot is being done, but recently government has paid more attention to the sector. And so some minerals have been identified, which include the coal, lead, zinc, iron ore, bitumen, barytes, limestone, and gold. We can see that in terms of gold, there is over 200 million ounces that is in the total reserves, but in actual production, only 0.14 million is all that has been produced. So there's still a lot of opportunities there for mining. As Dukia Gold, we've tried to look at the areas in which you can play. So there's a refinery plant. Currently in West Africa, there's no LBMA certified refinery plant. So this is a gap that we're filling now. Over the next 2-3 years, we'll achieve the status, and then we are good to go, meaning that we can begin to trade just like every other the developed countries. Smelting plants, the assay laboratory. Currently in Nigeria, we don't have a fully certified assay laboratory. We have few preparation labs, so samples are still being sent out of Africa or to other African countries for processing. So beneficiation is still a gap that needs to be filled, which we're working on also. And vaulting, a critical part of the chain, is also absent. And we have solutions in place to fill this. Precious metals trading platform is what we've also set up, such that people can begin to trade from wherever with their precious metals, whether the rural mined ones or the recycled ones like the jewelry items. So Dukia Gold basically is a marketplace that will save the miner on logistics costs. The artisanal miners will also have access to technical expertise. Capital expenditure is a big part of the all-in sustainable cost of the mining industry. So we're working on several programs, including the gold equipment leasing program, to assist the small-scale miners to increase their production. By this, we create win-win positions for various stakeholders, including government, who are now able to track what is being produced and get their royalties and other fees from it. So there are several incentives that government has put in place for the mining sector. And this is towards attracting major players into the industry and to promote the junior explorers, promoting formal scale operators through expanding access to funding. So in this aspect, we have the Bank of Industry, we have the SMGF that are assisting people with funds. There are several of these incentives. We also have some incentives through the Nigeria Industrial Promotion Council, and this includes VAT exemptions, duties exemptions, export duties exemptions. There's a whole list of them. They can be found on the NIPC site. So looking at improving investment opportunities in the industry in Africa, so we must improve inter-Africa cooperation and trade facilitation. We should continue to develop mining infrastructure so that we can have better beneficiation within Africa, and not and then thereby we are able to retain a lot of the wealth that is created in Africa. So we pay attention to various aspects of the mining value chain. So not just about the digging, but how we can take mining from the mines to the market. Strengthening of regulatory structures. We should have a dedicated financing for the mining sector, and this should run for the entire Africa as a continent. Training and manpower development is very key, and we should have policies that will continue to strengthen the operators in the sector. Actualization of the African mining vision is also key. So a lot of work, it's been in place since 2009, but not much has been realized. This needs to be worked upon. As much as possible, let us have the focus that we want to avoid leakages, and we want to avoid exploitation, and we want to keep it all within Africa. We want to stop the ongoing exploitation and illegal mining, and yes, we can do a lot of these things within Africa, and we should do all that we can to make it possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bosse, for that very quick presentation. That's very on point. And I think for me, it's really very cheering to know that a lot is going on in Nigeria and in this area. And I'm really happy that your company has been well positioned as a go-to, company as far as gold refinery is concerned. Yeah, I believe our participant will have questions for you, because I have a couple of questions that I'm going to be asking along that line. And one of those questions, just to give you like a quick idea of what I'll be also try to interrogate you on, is I'm aware that the government of Nigeria, the federal government now currently is doing a lot when it comes to this issue of artisanal mining, illegal mining, and all that. I think it would be good during this interaction time for you to really throw more light. A lot of people sent in email that they would like to know, because for me, I think that's a kind of an incentive for investor in terms of what is happening in the country and how an average investor will be able to take advantage of what the good thing that the federal government is doing currently. So we are going to talk more about that. Thank you so much for the presentation. Yeah. So without much ado, you're welcome. You're welcome. So without much ado, I will move now to Mr. Adetola. Adetola will be presenting to us, just sharing his own weight of experience for us and speaking to the theme and the sub-theme of the topic. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Okay. Well, actually, I have my name is Adebola Adetola. I'm representing Norms Consulting. So today, I'll be giving you the perspective of how we see how mining can improve in West Africa. Actually, I have 22 years of experience when it comes to mining. I can categorically say that mining has been my bread and butter. So, and it's a known fact that when it comes to mining, South Africa is well versed. So, and I've grown within the corporate industry up to the executive level, advising boards. At one time, I was the chairman of one of the subsidiaries. And like I usually joke with people that I was once putting on the cap of an investor looking for where to put our money.
That's true.
Okay, I have postgraduate degree in geology from University of Witwatersrand. I also have a master's in business leadership from University of South Africa. And also I have the global executive degree from University of Duke University in North Carolina. So before I delve into the topic for today, let me say thank you to Steve for bringing me out here. I'm a kind of reserved person, so I hardly go out and have this type of discussion. So thank you, Steve, and thanks to the entire team of Basila Group for setting this up. Okay, so when we look at mineral deposit in Africa, it's no more a secret that Africa is well endowed when it comes to mineral deposits. However, looking at the level of poverty and inequalities around us, as well as the economic state of our continent, it is pathetic to say the least. So I'm not here to be the advocate of bad news, but actually to say, okay, what can we do to unlock all these investment opportunities? Actually, when you look at mining is capital intensive and also a global business. So the form of capital investment we are talking about will mostly come from foreign direct investments, which will known as the FDI. So, but let's take a cue from South Africa. What makes South Africa an attractive destination in Africa for mining investors as compared to any other African countries? Okay, we can say, yes, South Africa mining industry is supported by an extensive and diversified resource base. Also, it's been a cornerstone of our economy here for about 160 years. Though, in terms of when you look at the socio-political stabilities, the natural security, the legal framework, the infrastructure availability, as well as security of mining rights, one can say South Africa is faring better than, some of the African countries. But what is actually the fundamental that attracts the mining investors in South Africa? And I will take the opportunity to now share my slide to just talk about. So like I was saying that what are the fundamentals that actually, attract investors to South Africa? My principle is this. Yes, in West Africa, we've been talking about mining and all those things. And I always believe in taking things from the simplest angle, to be able to understand what are the fundamentals, because we have a gigantic problem. We can't doubt that. But how can we handle this big problem? How can we make sure that we bring investors to our doorsteps? We should first of all look at what are the fundamentals. What are the things that, no matter what, we need to have these. The first one is actually, okay, and in South Africa, some of the things, I zoom it in or zero it into two things, which is, the first one is the mining regulation manual here, which we know as the MPRDA, the Mineral and Petroleum Resource Development Act. So this piece of legislation, it deals with acquisition or rights to conduct reconnaissance, prospecting, and mining. So what the MPRDA does is to actually give investor the awareness or the information about what to expect by the government and the stakeholders, as well as what to expect from them, as well as to know the consequences in the event of not complying to any of the regulations. So with the help of MPRDA here, investors can make an informed decision from the outset, whether they want to come in or they don't want. They actually know what they are getting themselves into. So it helps. So that is one of the fundamentals that we have, that is here in South Africa. The second thing, which is very, very important, is the SAMRED code, which is the South African code for reporting of exploration results, mineral resources, and mineral reserves. Especially, the SAMRED code has made it such that it gives credibility to the geoscientific information reports, as well as give accreditation to professionals. So what are we saying in essence? So with the help of SAMRED code, we're able to align ourselves here at par with any professional in any mining hub globally. So when you look at this screen, the third screen here, this screen actually shows that when you look at the international reporting code that is compulsory for any competent person to adhere to. This code, when you look at the global map, you can see that in Africa, it's only South Africa, which is the SAMRED code. Canada have their own, USA, Europe, Russia, China, Australia, they all have their codes. So with the help of SAMRED code, we are able to align ourselves to be at par with our counterparts globally. So without this code, it's actually difficult for an investor to ascertain whether the authenticity as well as the integrity of geoscientific data or report. Likewise, when you look at the professionals, or let me say mining professionals here, because of the fact that, you have to be evaluated, you have to be accredited. You need to have a practice number to be able to say you become or you participate in mining activities. So this gives investors that kind of comfort here to be able to come here, because an investor from Russia or from China or from Canada or from the US can come in knowing fully well that we have our house in order here. So if I issued or I'll sign a report, a technical report, that report can stand in any stock exchange globally, which gives that investor opportunity to raise fund and be able to invest in mining activities here. So, having said that, so the key message I have for West Africa is investors are not scarce. There are investors everywhere. That I can tell you. I've been opportune to be in that space of looking at where we are going to invest the money, which project we are going to look into. The key thing is the investors are scared. And why are they scared to come to West Africa? Why are they scared to come to a country like Nigeria? It's because of information and professional credibility. I'm talking of basic things. There are other things. Natural security, national security, security of minor rights. There are other things, but I try to focus on the fundamentals first, because if we can get the fundamentals right, we can take our time and be solving other problems gradually. But if we don't have the foundation, no matter what we say we are doing over there, it's a matter of time before it goes down. So we need to get the foundation right, and we need to attract the foreign direct investment. Hence, like I said, the investors are not scarce. The investors are scared. So, and if we can get, credibility on our information and our professionals. Like for instance, when you look at the geoscientific information, our geoscientific information over there is either lacking or the ones available, they don't have that credibility. The same goes for reports as well as mining and mineral professionals. So we shouldn't expect any investor to come and build on a foundation that lacks credibility. So charting the way forward on that, our government or our leaders need to show sincere commitment in demystifying the mining sector, by focusing first on getting the basics in place. And this will entail availability of geoscientific information or data, and also to give credibility to the geoscientific information, the reports, and the professionals through engaging competent professionals like, NOMS Consulting for advice and guidance. So, furthermore, which is another important factor, is how we can develop mining initiatives towards holistic industrial revolution in West Africa. My first, Mrs. Owolabi, yes, I think it's Owolabi. Yeah, Mrs. Owolabi mentioned something about beneficiation, which is very important because, yes, we are now in the 21st century. And then now our leaders should be thinking about economic sector transformation through beneficiation. Because critically, when you look at it, it's unimaginable to take our raw materials, export them out, and then be the same people that will now be buying the product, the finished product. To me, it's like being naira wise and pounds foolish. So these are the things that we need to correct going forward, especially in the mining sector. So, like I said, it depends on the commitment our leadership are trying to showing, as well as how they want to make sure that All these are not just rhetoric, that in actual sense, they really want mining to generate revenue and, bring investors to our doorsteps. Lastly, I would like to just give a brief introduction of about NOMS Consulting. NOM Consulting is underpinned by accredited professionals of varying disciplines. And part of our services we offer is advisory services. We work on exploration project management. We do competent persons report in line with the SAMRE code, which is the International Reporting Code. We do independent review of technical reports. We also do technical and techno-economic assessment of mineral projects for investment decision and for merger and acquisition. We also carry out project risks and gap analysis. We also do stakeholder engagement and expectation management. And then last one is technical training. So, and our client base spans through the mining corporation, the investors, the extractive industry, the refractory industry, the automobile industry, and lastly, government and academic institutions.
Thanks so much for that very detailed presentation. And we are going to be going into question and interactive session later. But one thing that I think stood out for me, which I'll be taking you up on, is the statement you made regarding the International Reporting Code. If it is that important, why is it that African countries or the governments in Africa are really not framing policies that favors that? I think it would be a very good conversation to have, because it seems to me that that's probably what investors, especially the savvy investors, will be looking at to really say, look, I'm attracted to this country, I'm attracted to the mining sector of this country, we want to go there. So I think you need to actually enlighten us more on what do you think our government can be doing? Because as we are now, some of the participants are policymakers. Some of the people that are still going to come across these videos, this webinar recording, are going to be policymaker, decision makers. So look at it, the whole of Africa is only South Africa that is having that International Reporting Code. I think it will be good. And I like the statement you made about the fact that the investors are not scarce, they are scared. It sounds like a very, very, like a hard truth, but it has to be said. So we need to engage more on that. Thank you so much, Mr. Adetola. We really appreciate your time.
Okay,
and the good job that the GNOME Consulting is doing on the continent. We engage you further. So now I will, without much ado, I will go to Ghana now. You see the way we are moving now, thanks to the virtual community, moving from Cape Town to Nigeria, Nigeria to South Africa, South Africa to Ghana now. So I will be calling on Mr. Koku Treve to give us his own introduction and his presentation. Over to you, my brother.
Thank you very much, Steve. I must say that it's a lot of pressure for me to be involved in this webinar. And just to kick it start, I am the senior servant at Elegemas Services Ghana Limited, a consulting firm in the mining supply chain, from large scale to small scale mining, and setting up Ghanaian individuals to take their rightful positions in the supply chain and make good the reserves. I am passionately touched by the last speaker when he rightly articulated succinctly the challenges of the sector. I will not talk about, I will talk about myself at the tail end, because I think I have a tall order, and if I want to spend time talking about myself, I will not meet the purpose for which I'm here. But as we all know, West Africa is endowed with substantial mineral resources and has, you can share my screen.
Okay.
You can put the presentation up for me.
Okay, let me do that now. You can continue speaking. I will try and put it on now.
It has a well-established mining sector, which has grown considerably in recent years to represent an important pillar in the West African economy. Minerals and mining activities in West Africa is not only beneficial to nations, but to investors and stakeholders in the mining industry. And that is where I agree very much with Adebola. I think that he has just made things easier for me because I would have to skip the challenges that are there and move on to what is doable and what is happening currently. The economic challenges faced globally due to the recent health pandemic is negatively impacted many sectors. However, whilst there are restructuring and plans for recovery of these challenges globally, prices and production of gold and other minerals appear to be steadily climbing up back to normal trends. Generally, Ghana is known to be a destination where investment opportunities exist in gold, diamonds, manganese, and bauxite. That notwithstanding, there are huge potentials for industrial minerals such as salt, limestone, granite, sand, aggregates, and just to name a few. And generally, as we all appreciate, and Adebola, I will always be referring to you because you set the stage for me. It's a huge area for foreign investment. And Ghana is not an exception. But the trend in Ghana is that the large-scale companies are dominant and they are multinationals. And they are multinational owned. But there is something unique about Ghana, and that is the small-scale sector is exclusively reserved for Ghanaian nationals, such that they can also contribute to the mineral production and revenue generation in the mineral sector. But there is a gap that he talked about that is transforming the mining sector by value addition. We are always hewers and of all raw material for the developed industries. But I think that this is where Ghana has positioned itself effectively to take advantage by creating a very good investment atmosphere in Ghana. Over the years, the three top minerals are gold, bauxite, and manganese. Diamond has dwindled over the years. And just to give a statistics, GDP contribution from mining rose from 6,219.95 billion Ghana cedis in the fourth quarter of 2019 to 7,044 million Ghana cedis in the first quarter of 2020. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this to just assure investors that the mining sector in Ghana is generating the necessary production and revenue and is on target to provide the revenue and profit for investment. As we all know, over the period, Ghana has enjoyed a stable democratic governance, gone through 7 successful elections, and effective and well-organized key national institutions. Just as Adebola said, we need a credibility of institutions and professionals, and Ghana is on course. I think it will not be long, we will join the likes of South Africa in the professional accreditation and geoscientific information accreditation. But that notwithstanding, there is a robust regulatory framework. It's a win-win situation for both government and investors. And I must say that the main issue that governs the mining in Ghana is the Mineral and Mining Act of 2006, Act 703, as amended by Minerals and Mining Amendment Act of 900. The Minerals and Mining General Regulation LI 2173 of 2012, and the mining industry is regulated by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, but the implementation and administration of policies that govern the industry is the preserve of the Minerals Commission that administer the laws. That is not to say there are no allied agencies like EPA, Water Resources Commission, Forestry Commission that gives permits for operations in forest areas, water bodies, and general management of the environment. In 2017, Ghana actually developed the latest mining and mineral policy to promote diversification of lesser known minerals, linkages between the mining sector and other sectors. That is to see how we can blend the resources with other sectors of the economy. And this is to increase local participation, among others, and grow the sector. A lot of things have gone on. The ministry has been fully fledged mining cadastral system, accountability and compliance in the management of the rights to boost investment, and the legal frameworks that incentive to investors. And these laws have provided investors with stability that the country needs to start with. Thus, the challenges of other sectors have to grapple with, mining sector will continue to perform and have the positive impact on the GDP and foreign investors starting business in the mining industry must first comply with the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act 865. This is very critical because that is the window that you can effectively and religiously enter and have all the benefits there are in the mining sector. You must be identified by that center and you must be guided by the policies of that center, and then you enjoy all the benefits of investment in the country. That takes me to the investment opportunities. We have seen areas, the prospecting, exploration, mine development, and mining itself. We have engineering services. We have the industrial mineral sector. Just to be very brief, the opportunities in the prospecting, engineering, and mining sector are for gold, diamond, bauxite, and manganese. There are consultancy opportunities for junior exploration, and there are still virgin fields that need to be explored and developed into full-fledged mining. Opportunities also exist in the engineering and services sector, such as support services, including laboratories, contract mining, and geological consultancies to mining companies in the country. Refinery facilities or the development of refineries, just like what is happening in Nigeria to add value to the local raw material or the local gold ore that is produced. It's also a young for investors. And I think that is one of the areas that we can get a lot of freebies from the government of Ghana. Another in the engineering sector is the manufacturing of plants and machinery for the mining industry. I'll give the examples of Ghana where assembly plants are just to support the mining industry, particularly Toyota that has to put up assembly plants because the mining industry is the major consumer of their fleets. And I think Ghana is positioning itself for that, and there are opportunities for those who want to set up assembly plants for other plants and machinery here to take advantage of. Downstream, there are opportunities for key manufacturing for inputs, like example, grinding media, drill beads, activated carbon, chlorine gas, etc., etc. That takes me to the third area, which is the industrial mineral area. And that, in other words, internationally they call it low value mineral. And that has a huge potential that is not tapped yet in Ghana. And government is trying to sell out that sector to potential investors. What are the opportunities? You can set up and you produce industrial mineral for local and international consumption. Currently, sand is being exported from Ghana to Togo for construction purposes, and some pits are being developed as strategic areas and is being exported. The use of industrial materials such for the construction industry, ceramics is a potential area, paints, electronic, plastics, glass, and detergents and paper, others, because the raw material for all these things are existing here in country. One of the critical ones for both oil and gas industry and for the other downstream mining supply chain is the use and production of solar salts. Its utilization to produce caustic soda, which is a raw material for soap and detergent industry, the chlorine co-product that can be used as water treatment chemical, and also a raw material for the production of other health facilities. The production of clinker for the mining industry from limestone, I must say the demand over the last year period is over 1 million metric tons, because clinker can be developed from roasting limestone, which can be converted to quick lime, which is used for detoxification and controlling of pH in carbon in-leach and heap leach operations. The use of granite to produce high quality floor tiles. Ghana's granite contains I'll remember to give you the particular. This makes it so special that when it is used to produce floor tiles, it gives a very shining output. And the production of dimension stone, we all know the development around the world where dimension stones are used for industrial buildings and all others. I must say that there is a local content plan and law for Ghana in mining industry. Under the Minerals and Mining Regulation, the mine support service provider, holders of mineral rights and holders of license to export or deal in minerals are required to submit a 5-year procurement plan to the Minerals Commission for approval. In the preparation of procurement plan, companies are required to take into account the requirement of local procurement list of goods and services with Ghanaian in mind, or for the Ghanaian to participate, which the commission shall make available annually to the mining industry. Over the years, the chamber, working together with other stakeholders like the Ghana Association of Mine Industry, the Minerals Commission, they have identified 19 products or goods and services which shall be procured locally in Ghana. And this is the local content. Even though it is a local content, it is to encourage investors to relocate and localize their industries to meet this list that I'm going to provide now. These 19 areas, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to be in Ghana. All you need to do is to locate in Ghana. And that is the reason why the investment atmosphere in Ghana is conducive for investors to cash on. The first one is the production of grinding media, explosives, that's the emulsion. We have companies already in that area and others, and the market is yawning. Cement and cement products like grouts for high-rise buildings. Quick and hydrated lime, I spoke about it. Electrical cables, you can set up in country to produce once the standards are met. We have HDPE pipes. There are opportunities for retrading of used ties, general lubricants, bolts and nuts production, crucibles for smelting and assay purposes, plastic bag for sampling, calico bags for packaging, bullion boxes for packaging bullion, chain lining fencing, wire netting, barbed wire production, conveyor rollers, metal PVC for core trails, overalls and work clothes, haulage services and catering services. Now, why do you have to invest in any of these areas in Ghana? The incentive there are a depreciation of 75% of capital expenditure incurred in the first year of investment and 50% declining balance in subsequent years. Investment allowance of 5% in the first year only. Losses in financial year not exceeding the value of the capital allowance for the year may be carried forward. Capitalization of pre-production expenses approved by the authorities when the holder start development of commercial mining. Exemption of staff from out of Ghana payment of income tax relating to furnishing accommodation at the mine. Immigration quota for expatriate personnel free from any tax imposed by government for the transfer of foreign currency out of Ghana. Expenditure on exploration and development may be capitalized in accordance with regulated amortization provision for tax relief. Retention of a portion of revenue in foreign exchange accounts, for use in acquiring essential equipment and spare parts required for mining operations, which will allow us not be readily available without the use of such earning. And the last but not the least, the exemption from import duties on imported plants and equipment. All these incentives are not without responsibilities. We all know that the reasons why governments give incentive is to attract investment and which will in the long term inure to their benefit. In the mining sector in Ghana, companies are subjected to fiscal regimes such as corporate tax of 35%, capital gains of 15%, withholding tax of 15%, ground rents, property rates, and mineral rights fees are payable as prescribed by regulation. Royalties of between 3 to 6% of mining revenue obtained are also payable. Sorry. Social responsibility is very important and critical role in mining.
Sorry.
Mining companies.
Your time.
Yes, I am just joining.
You need to double up, sir.
Must not only ensure compliance of regulation, they must be involved in responsibility of developing their communities they operate in and should participate in the funding of projects. In conclusion, today Ghana is not only the best place for doing business in West Africa, but the fastest growing economy in the world according to the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Report 2019. The country has developed into an established business destination for investors seeking conducive business environment, committed and progressive government-private sector participation, political stability, transparent regulation, and a dynamic private sector ready for partnership. The government is committed to implementing policies that reduce the general cost of doing business to promote investor confidence in the country. Here are several reasons why people should invest in Ghana. 1, Ghana has a stable democracy. 2, ease of doing business. 3, it is accessible from all over the world because Ghana is at the center of the world. 4, it has a competitive and educated labor force, and it has a growing population and a middle class. It has a strong resource pool, and the last but not the least, most resilient economy in West Africa. And Ghana continues to play an important role in the global production of minerals and mining, and one expects nothing less in 2020, despite the challenges of the pandemic. Investors can be assured of a robust
Thank you so much. I think I wanted to actually, when you were presenting, I checked your biography again, just to be sure that you are not the Minister of Mineral Resources in Ghana. Because you practically sold Ghana to us, and it's amazing to know the amazing investment opportunity in Ghana. And I think some of our participants will be having a private chat with us to see how actually we can really go there and see for ourselves.
I think I have a message from the president. Can you go to the beginning of my slide?
We will do that during interaction if we still have time. Let me go to Liberia now, sir. Okay, so we are going to be moving to, thank you so much for the presentation. That was very mouthful and full of a lot of practical things that investors could consider. Thank you so much. It was really a very eye-opening presentation. Thank you, sir. So yeah, we'll quickly go to Monrovia in Liberia to speak to Eddie Pisne. Eddie, are you there? Can you put on your mic and your video?
Good afternoon, Steve. How are you?
Good, Eddie. Good to hear you and good to see you.
I'm Eddie Pisne, as you rightly said. I am the Special Assistant to the Assistant Minister for External Resources and Debt Management at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning of the Republic of Liberia. I know when you hear my name and you're thinking, but this guy is not a mining engineer or neither a geologist. And then he is being called to this platform. I know it trickles your mind. But I am here to tell you that Liberia is the best place to live now on planet Earth in terms of investment opportunities. Let me first start to introduce to you Liberia. Liberia is a very small country, and we are situated on the west coast of Africa with a population of 4.6 million people. I know everybody would like to know why it's just all about Liberia. But Liberia is a very sweet country to live. In regards, hello, Steve, are you hearing me?
Very well, Eddie.
Okay, because I'm seeing like you're not following my slides down.
Okay, so you tell me, okay. Is that fine?
Yeah, I'm fine, don't worry.
Are you seeing your slide now? The slide?
No, it's, okay, you got it there.
Okay.
But it's okay. I'm on course with you. As I was saying, Liberia is a small country, okay? And as a country, it is bounded by 3 rich but underdeveloped countries. That's the reality of it. But we are so rich with natural resources like gold, diamonds, iron ore, crude oil, etc. And then we are all around, also surrounded by Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Africa, and the South by the Atlantic Ocean, yeah. But I can tell you that Liberia is a very sweet place. When it comes to the mining industry, we have a very good policy with good governance, and the approach that we have can give any investor a warm and a sweet welcome. Okay, and then if let us look at the understanding the mining supply chain in West Africa to Liberia perspective. Looking at the statistics of government revenues by sector contribution indicates that the mining sector contributed 3.38 million of the total revenue during the year, or the fiscal year 2004 to 2015, and generating about 10,000 jobs. And in the same year, the sector faced a drop in demand, production level investment, and loss of employment as a result of the twin shock, that is the Ebola disease and the price and the low price. That was 58.3%.
You have to be fast now. You have to be fast because of our time and the internet. You can continue now.
The production of gold and diamond and iron ore from 2012 to 2015, according to our Liberia Extractive Agency that came out with 2016 report, we were not certain because our report here dropped because of all these things. So when you see the money economic statistics there, where it tells you the fiscal year from 2014 to 2015, if you see it, there was a rise and fall in the economy, in the mining sector. And then if you go back to the production of diamond, we had the same problem there because of the same Ebola stuff. And even that's the same. And the iron ore we dropped on the market in 2013 up to 2016. And sustaining the money era, what we have the principal agency for the management of the environment in Liberia. And it is the Environmental Protection Agency, that is the EPA. That is, okay. So the EPA is responsible to take over with the sustainable mining in an era of climate change. So they control that when it comes to climate change. And then we have the EPA is being run as an agency, but reports directly to the government and the president of Liberia, or the president of Liberia. It's a prospect and opportunities for investors in West Africa mining sector with Liberia. Liberia is a sweet place, and then the foundation of the economy is the mining industry. And as you can see, or you have heard, investors come here because Liberia is the most friendly country in the whole Africa. And our government is very light when it comes to some tough procedures or working with investors. So investor finds it as a privilege coming here to do business, because here our place is very free. I can say free land of liberty, and it's very sweet as well. So I would like to encourage everyone who wants to invest in the mining industry. I think Steve, you share the slides because I cannot go through it now because of the time and the internet fight. So, but basically, Liberia is the best place to invest when it comes to mining industry in Africa because of their, number one, the environmental condition. Number two, their good governance relationship to investor. Number three, and the people, or the good working relationship that has to do with the concession agreement. Our concession agreement gives the investor the opportunity to invest and then look after the people of that community with a very low percentage or what we call revenue generation period. So Steve, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, and then with the challenges and barriers to entry, we all know that investment or mining industry deals with legal documentation that is the key to effective and transparent business practice. So as the mining sector, everybody will want to work with a proper document, because illegal documentation is a barrier and a complete disaster to any country's economy. Are you there?
Very well.
Okay, and then we say to conclude, the mining sector is vital to Liberia's economy and social development, owing largely to the endowment of its natural resources. The sector contribution to the GDP has continued to grow as new discoveries are made and the development of new mines. So now we have virgin mines in Liberia. As you see, Liberia has 4 dimensions. We have the north, we have the south, the east, and the west. And then the north is where we have not touched the Wologisi Mountain yet. We have not touched the Bone Ridge Mountain. We got over 5 mountains, and we got about 4 that we have not touched. It's a virgin mountain. And we are rich in the gold, in the iron ore. So investors would like to come because everybody wants to be in a virgin land. And then the mining sector is more accessible to foreign investors for the economic growth of the Republic of Liberia. And as Liberia remains a friendly and natural resources state, there are people of diverse background and races that are pulling in with great investment in the mining sector. So I would like to welcome every one of you. You can come over to visit Liberia and let us get in the soil and start to dig all the gold and the diamond. So Steve, thank you for the privilege. I appreciate it.
Wow, thank you so much, Eddie. Thank you also for being very time conscious. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much, participants. It's time for you to pop in your questions. I believe that there are a couple of questions from our participants. It's just the last leg of the webinar now. We'll be wrapping up, but I think it's good to actually interrogate some of the things that have been raised in this webinar today. So I'm going to go to the Dukia Gold. I'm going to go to Bosse now to really try and to throw more light on the policy aspect of how is the government in Nigeria addressing the issue of illegal mining. The video I wanted to show you the other time was about illegal mining, but unfortunately we can't get to see the video. So I think it would be good to know how is the government, what is the policy around the government policy around illegal mining in a country like Nigeria. And that's one. Then secondly, it will also be good to know about the recent presidential policy initiative that the government actually is implementing. How do you think that will a kind of assist the players in this sector and the prospective investors? Over to you, Bosse. Okay, please, you can go for it. Okay.
What government is trying to do now is the PAGMI project, which you referred to, is one of the ways that government has tried to manage illegal mining. So government is encouraging artisanal miners to form themselves into cooperatives, and then also they get formalized by getting mining, small-scale mining leases. So they operate together as a consortium or as a cooperative, and then so they're being encouraged to formalize. So different schemes have been launched through the SMDF on the PAGMI project now. I think the Kebbi and Osun State, there are some pilot projects. So recently, there was a show of a production that was done to LBMA standards that was displayed. So that's, it's seen that if government provides them with the licenses and the equipment that are required, and this thing, we can begin to eliminate illegal mining. And in some states in the western part of Nigeria, there's some kind of task force that are in place now to watch illegal activities in the mining sector. Because what has happened is that people just come, do their illegal mining, leave the communities in without any benefits, and when they go away, they leave them without even the degradation to the environment. So there is more awareness in that sector now, and a lot is being done to ensure that illegal mining is, but largely artisanal mining is what is obtainable in Nigeria. And that's why government has said, okay, rather than not mining, let's have them formalized into cooperatives that can access appropriate licenses.
Steve, just a follow-up. Steve, just a follow-up. How long does it take to get a small-scale mining license or cooperative license in Nigeria, and how difficult it is?
Okay, continue.
Okay, it's not a difficult process. So you first need to get a consent from the community. So you do a reconnaissance. You go and assess the place that you want a title over. Then you approach once you indicate that to the ministry, you then given a chance to go there. So you go and they give you a consent. If you're able to sign the consent, which is by the community leaders, you then come back to the ministry and you are given an exploration license. After your due diligence and tests, you can go back and then you get a small scale mining lease. So it depends on how fast you are able to get your consent from the community. But the ministry is very cooperative once you follow all the procedures and you pay all the fees. So I can't, because I won't say a month, I won't say 2 months, because it's dependent on that community and how soon you get their consent, because you can't get the mining lease without the consent of the host community.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for that very good response. Now, I think it's good to know. I like the comparison that Mr. Adetola was making when he was having his presentation. I think my question to him would be, how was the issue of illegal mining dealt with in South Africa, or is it still a problem?
Interestingly, yes, it's still a problem, but it's on the other side as compared to what is experienced in the West African region. Interestingly, in the West African region, the illegal miners are at the forefront, whereas here, the illegal miners are actually going to abandoned mines and let me say closed mines. So they are going after the end. So that is like they are the opposite sides. But it's still going on. So they're also trying to find a way of formalizing it, because you need to understand the origin of illegal mining on this side, okay? Because when you look at a mine is actually, it has to do with profitability. Once it becomes unprofitable, it doesn't mean the resource or the reserve is not there. It's still there, but you need to look at your numbers and say, okay, given what we have over there, it's not economical again to extract this reserve. And thus, they will say, okay, we want to close the mine. It doesn't mean so. In as much as people know that it's still there. The point is, a major player will look at all the overheads and say, okay, given this reserve that is here, it can't take care of all my expenditures. It's either they hand it over to a medium or a junior miners, in which they can take it further. And a junior miner can also take it and still look at their overheads and say, oh no, what, this cannot take care of my things, and then they just close it totally. But individuals can just go there and be taking pieces of gold there, and I can tell you they're getting things. So that's why it's still there. It is something very delicate and very sensitive. Yeah, but it's still around.
Okay, so I will also quickly ask you this before I move to Cocoa in Ghana. You said something about international reporting codes. So why is it? Why is it that it's a problem for African government to subscribe to this type of codes? Is it like it's something that it's expensive, or are there bureaucracy around it?
No. Okay, it's a question for me.
No, it's
Steve.
for you. It's for you, Adebola. It's for you.
Okay. We can't look at it from the monetary terms. I think it has to do with commitment and the seriousness.
Correct.
That is it. Because you can't say, okay, the code is like a language. So it's a mining language. Let me put it that way. So if sincerely you really want to open up your mining sector, it's one of the factors that you should, take care of. So without seriousness and commitment, it's like putting the what do you call it, the cart before the horse.
Before the horse. Okay. So in other words, what you are saying is that it is not strange to government and policymakers. It's just that it has not been prioritized. Is that the issue?
I wouldn't want to say it's strange to them, because I'm sure many people, interestingly from our part of the world, we've traveled far, we've seen things. So there are a lot of things that we are aware of. But the question we always ask ourselves is always the same question of, but you've seen this happening in Russia, you've seen this happening in the US, you've seen this happening in China, you've seen this happening in Brazil. How come you can't implement this at home?
Yeah.
Maybe probably they intentionally don't want it to be. And I can tell you one thing, Steve. If an investor except if the investor is an authentic investor, an investor that is coming to come and take advantage of the community of the country will not also want the code to be there, I can tell you, because the code helps both parties. I can tell you one thing, I've been to, I don't want to mention the name of the country, but this country is in Central Africa, and they are very vast when it comes to copper. And I was there, and I could see a lot of nationals from, these nationals have really infiltrated Africa, and they come with promises. I don't want to mention names also. And I could see them all over the show, and they are making roads. And I asked the vice president, I had a meeting with them of that country, that, okay, what's going on here? And they said, okay, they are going to put our infrastructure in place in exchange for our minerals. And I asked him one question. Okay, so who is within your country that is overseeing and validating the report they are giving you? Especially the technical report. How do you know how they've evaluated your resource and your reserves? How do you know what you have? And the question was, oh, you know what? We trust them. They know what they are doing.
Wow.
And I can tell you one thing. It's a matter of time before they looted the whole thing.
Yeah.
And when you look at the resource of a reserve, it's limited. It's not. So to give it such an example, so it's not like they don't know some of these things. Some of it is like they don't care.
Yeah. I think for me, one of the things that actually got my attention when I read about the Nigerian government and what they are actually doing now is the fact that government can actually save a lot of money from if this mining, illegal mining is taken care of, if certain things are done the way they should be done. And I'm surprised that if it could save government some money and it could also serve as a source of foreign revenue generation, why is it not being prioritized? Why is attention not being placed on this? Well, anyway, I think it's
sorry, I would like to put in something. Sorry.
Steve.
Because you mentioned something
sorry,
about.
Can I allow Koku to speak before you?
Okay.
Okay, Koku, you can go on.
I think that I will support Bola 100% about his experience, and it has been the trend. Majority of the time, people who make the decision have no idea what it is. Must say they are round pegs in square hole by political expediency. And if we want to bring the change and government's commitment, then we must learn to put the right people at the right places. And investors, as he said, always take advantage of the gaps. If an investor knows that the one in charge of mining do not have a robust knowledge about what it takes to benefit the country by way of win-win situation, and the investor can take a due advantage, he will do. I think that for certain political positions, for you to take, for example, for the mineral resource governance, you need to have a geoscience background. You need to have an expertise in the area so that you can maximize the opportunities that are there in the country. So I think we need to stand up as technical people. We need to stand up as professionals to call the shots. Politicians will come and go. Our resources are limited, but they need to be sustainably managed and exploited.
Yeah.
So I just want to add
I mean, that's a good point, but I think I will take you up on that in the sense that, you know, that some of these ministerial positions are political positions. And you also know that in governance and in government, there is provision for special advisor, technical advisors to surround these politicians to actually advise them in trying to do the right thing. You know, for instance, now, the president of Nigeria is not a geologist or a mining engineer, but look at what he has been advised to put up in terms of the presidential committee to address the issue of small scale mining and things like that. I think it's about all about political will. Because one thing is for the technical advisors and the consultant to advise government, another thing is for them to have the will to really be able to carry it out. And I suppose is one of the reasons why we are organizing this knowledge sharing kind of forum, to see how we can engage with policymakers and to see where the lapses are in terms of how we can now begin to connect the dots. Thank you. So I'm still going to come back to Ghana, but we are trying to round up in the next, say, 15 minutes or so. I will go back to Dukia Gold. I just want to find out now, in terms of what you do at Dukia Gold, how can an average, you know, your company is based in Nigeria. What is it that you have to offer investors? That's number one. Secondly, how will an average Nigerian who is interested in the gold business benefit from what you are doing? Like somebody was talking to me 2 days ago and he was saying that, wow, this whole thing is too high for people. People don't really understand. Maybe we begin to speak in the language that people can understand so that an average Nigerian can also benefit from this. And also some very sophisticated investors who might want to actually do business with you. What are those areas they should be looking at? Bosse.
Okay, thank you. So what we've set out to be is to be a natural solution to ensuring that Africa maximizes the opportunity in solid minerals. So you will see during the presentation, I showed a value chain and also areas where we have, the way we've structured our business units. So because we're an aggregator, we buy gold. So we have different schemes. So there's one saying that, okay, you're keeping your things in the house and not using your jewelry. You can monetize that and use that as a working capital. We have that also. Then there's also, in terms of mining, if you want to mine and you don't have the necessary equipment, in addition to what federal government is doing, we're working with with SSML holders also. We have a number of them that we're working with now, and we are partnering with them. So they will get equipment on lease, and then from their mined metals, precious metals, they will pay off. So we have a number of schemes like that. And also some have come to say, okay, be our partners with the mining, because they don't have the requisite capital also to do that. So that is another aspect that we've set out to be. And we've also come out to say, okay, there is no world-class standard laboratory. So that's also something that we've provided. This will reduce costs to miners because they will first eliminate courier costs to send things to Canada, to anywhere else, even to South Africa most times also. So that is there, and then we can say, okay, because we're working with a world-class laboratory service provider, ALS, to do this. So you can actually get whatever you will get outside Nigeria. In the developed countries, you can get those services in Nigeria. So that is another way that we've impacted people, or we're trying to impact people. So we continue to look for partners. We can't have enough resources, but those are areas where we have chosen to invest, but we know that we are open to partnerships, we are open to discussions, we are open to investors. But as I showed during the slide, the mining area is still largely untapped. So,
yeah.
Yes, and government is beginning to do a lot of things to attract people to the sector. More studies are being carried out, and so people are beginning to gain more confidence. Part of what our project seeks to do is to say that, so if you come in today as a miner, you don't need to invest in certain areas because we've already done it. So that reduces your capital expenditure, and you can just go and face your core mining business. So that's we continue to do different things, and we're evolving. And
sorry, you mentioned something during your presentation about the fact that there is a huge opportunity in the mining value chain. Can you like mention a few of those within the mining value chain, especially within the gold mining value chain that you specialize on?
Okay, so there is I've spoken about the mining part, and so the refinery part is what we've done. So two licenses have been issued in that regard, but there is the one of stocking. So trading in raw materials, and so there's people who will sell chemicals are also there. There are various things, just like Coco identified. There's several items that are missing in the value chain that people can come in and render their own services. You just need to decide what is your focus, what strengths do you have, how can this be impacted in the mining sector. So it's a limitless thing. You can choose even to be a provider of a restaurant to the mining community. So that comes from you having that strength of rendering that service. But as long as various parts of it are developed, more indirect benefits will spin off that other people can key into, given that the major value chain elements are capital intensive. The laboratory, the logistics, the vaulting, some of them are specialized, they are specialized areas. So, I mean, the opportunities are there, and people can choose which area they think they want to play. But
great.
in terms of large volumes, if you have large volumes of funds, then the mining bit is the mining area is where people should focus, because if we do that, then it means sourcing of raw materials for even the refinery. For so we begin to mine enough to trade within Africa rather than leaving them untapped, and that's the area that we need the major mining companies to come and help with.
So yeah, sorry, Bosse. Somebody would like to know, how easy is it to get a mining license in Nigeria?
It is very easy, and if you, it's just to apply. There is a guideline on, if you go on the ministry site, that's the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development. There are guidelines there which you can download, but they are straightforward processes, and I can say that the ministry is usually very cooperative with this. But you need to do your due diligence first on where you want to apply.
Great.
So you need to know the area. They are not going to tell you go and apply for this. So there's a bit of work that you need to do
your whole background work.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh wow, that's good. That's good. Yeah, thank you so much. I will be coming around to take our final words, then we'll close. But before then, I will go to Eddie in Liberia. So Eddie, would like to know of all the minerals that you mentioned during your presentation, what is it that you think that an investor need to do? I know that, I mean, like we've had private discussion before this webinar. What do you think that an investor can do? Investors who are interested in seeing how they can invest in the mining sector in Liberia. Just like your quick thoughts on what is it that you think that an investor can do to really be able to invest in your country, and just be quick about that. Then we'll try to see how we can take final words and wrap up. Okay, over to you.
All right, thanks, Steve, for the opportunity given me. The first thing investor has to do is look at Liberia as a rich land. That is, Liberia is the mind of that investor. Now, once you see Liberia as a rich land, definitely you will see Liberia as your success point. So with Liberia, we have all the lot of natural resources here. And then we have very good concession of regulatory law that attracts investors. Investors coming to Liberia, you don't need to go through a lot of immigration process or processes. The first thing here you have to do, I think Liberia is one of the countries I see that visa processing is very easy and cheaper for any investor. Once you are from West Africa, you don't need a visa to enter Liberia.
Yeah.
And then we have a lot of countries that we have visa free. So I encourage a lot of investors, I say just come to Liberia, because only on the phone discussing the resources, it will not move you. You'll not see anything. Because investors are scared to come to West Africa, as our brother from South Africa said. I remember when I was in South Africa, I went through the same thing, doing some businesses from home. It was very difficult because investors were all afraid. But now as I'm in government, I can tell you that once you enter Liberia, the first thing we give you is security. The government protects investors as we invest and protect our citizens. So as an investor into Liberia, the first thing we guarantee for you is the security. And then the next thing we give you is the hospitality. We make you feel at home. We make you feel at home because we have about 5 virgin mountains that we have not touched in Liberia. We have crude oil, of which some area we have not even explored. But this is what's happening in Liberia. We are lacking equipment. There's no equipment yet. I must be honest with you. So when investors are coming, they will have to calculate in their budget, in their plan, equipment. We don't have equipment.
Okay.
But we have resources.
Okay, what you mean by in terms of infrastructure that are needed? Wow, that's good. That is also one very good source of investment to some people. I believe, like I told you before, now we are going to be coming with some investors over there to Liberia. Immediately the lockdown is lifted, I think there are quite a number of flights to make. Great, thank you so much, Eddie. Yeah, so one of our participants is asking a question. I will just throw it in. He said, what are the practices that foreigners do not covertly take over the natural resources of Africa, leaving the environment degraded and paying peanuts to the owners of the farmland? So I believe we understand the question. Like this idea of, well, I think by foreigners, it means foreign investors coming to take over the land and, you know, leaving it degraded and all that. What is it? What can be done? That's one. Then secondly, I think very importantly, it's also good for us that to look at mining has a lot of potential across Africa and in West Africa especially. But in an era of climate change, how do we do mining sustainably? I'm an expert when it comes to climate change and sustainable development. And I think for me, one of the conundrum we have in Africa is this idea of the resources are there on the ground, but we need to do it in such a way that it will not degrade the environment, is not going to contribute adversely to the environmental thing in an era of climate change. And I think maybe Coco will want to quickly address that.
Yes, thank you very much. I will just be straightforward. The first thing we need to do is to put regulations. And when we put the regulations, they must be enforced to the letter. Majority of the time in West Africa and across Africa, I think that certain countries, particularly Ghana, we have very good laws, but enforcement is very poor. And law enforcement regulatory agencies are intimidated by politicians and people in high places. That should be stopped. Number two, we should create reporting standards and follow suit. And there should be professional credibility, as said by Bola, where you as a mining engineer, you as a geological engineer, you as a mineral processor, you as an environmentalist, you know your roles and responsibilities, and you are accountable not to yourself, but to the generation yet unborn. The third or the fourth one is the commitment from government. Government should be committed to solving the issues, the challenges, and making sure the right people are positioned, and making sure the sectors are devoid of political interference and influence. And we need to educate, create, and sensitize our people on the need to maximize the limited available resources, and set to the extent that we can adequately use it now, and the next generation should also come. The last but not the least, we should be holding office holders accountable for their actions and inactions. I am done.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, Steve.
Yes.
Please, can I just add to what Coco just said, especially when it comes to, yeah, please. Okay. I think okay. We need to have in place allocations that should be deducted from mining activities. So these allocations should be kind of yearly and should be put in a kind of extra, which like an account. It could be something that a bank can even do in Nigeria, saying when you mine and you are having your end of the year, there's always money to be allocated for rehabilitation.
Correct.
And that money will be yielding interest. So in the event you want to walk away after 15 years, the government can take that money and rehabilitate whatever you've done. So I mean, it links back to the regulation and enforcement of regulations, as also to the implementation. How can we implement it successfully? The most important thing is that money shouldn't be put in a bank where public officials can have access to. It could be one of the banks that will take care of that end. So just a suggestion.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll be taking our final words now, but there is one question for Eddie from Liberia. Somebody wants to ask, Danso Abiam wants to ask, apart from investors who are needed in Liberia, is there any available opportunity for fresh graduates to be in the labor force as far as mining is concerned? It's talking about employment opportunity in the mining sector. Just for 30 seconds there, Eddie, over to you. Unmute yourself. Eddie, okay.
Sorry for that. The first thing here, I'm not the labor minister, but as an official or officer in government, the first thing that if you're a foreigner, you have to get a permit. You need a permit for that. So the first thing, once you have from West Africa, when you come into Liberia, you have what we call laissez-passer. The laissez-passer allows you to enter here, and then you go to our immigration where you apply for temporary permit that allows you to work here as a West African citizen. So as a recent graduate, you can get started here with ease. There's no fight about it. We have people here from Nigeria that are in senior positions in some mining sectors, and like they had an Australian mining company here, like the Chinese here. We have many Nigerians, Ghanaians, Sierra Leoneans. They are all into that sectors. And
Great.
here we don't pick and choose. Once you are an African, leave it. You will work.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Another thing I want to address here is the allocation for rehabilitation. I think I love that. I would like to do that on a policy note to submit to the minister proper year. And then want to reach it forward to government to really work on that in Liberia. I appreciate our brother from South Africa for that. Yeah, he scored 100% for that.
Yeah, that's
Thanks.
good.
Thanks, Eddie. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, don't worry. We'll talk about that. So we're wrapping up now. I like that initiative too of trying to see how to establish, have like an extra account for mining companies to be put aside, and then the government can see what to do with it. I think that's the policy. That's the policy point there that I think that we can begin to engage with some of the policymakers across West Africa on how we can see that happen, because climate change is real and also environmental degradation is also real. If you look at some of the mining sites, yeah, it's their eyesore. And the life of people living around mining areas sometimes are being endangered. So I think it's something that calls for policy attention. Thank you so much. So we are taking final word for, you're going to go 1 minute or thereabouts, and I'm going to start with Coco. Your final thoughts, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that has been a fruitful engagement, but the takeaway, Ghana is a destination if you want to have a good return on your investment. There are regulations, there are laws, there is an element of transparency. The environment is fertile, the location is good, and all you need to do is to come and taste the warm reception of the Ghanaian. But there is an opportunity, especially in the low value mineral area, that is the industrial mineral. And again, even though small scale mining is a preserve of Ghanaians, I think that there are opportunities along the supply chain, particularly value addition. You can come set up as a refinery to add value, to produce jewelry and export to the huge market of Nigeria and Senegal. Today, in Dubai, Nigeria and Senegal are the highest buyers of jewelry when it comes to jewelry consumption. And as said by Bose, in fact, the small scale sector is the way to go today, because Ghana particularly, we are contributing more than 40% to total gold output, which tells you that we are huge employers. And that is the area we need to focus, and the opportunities there downstream, they are huge. Investors are welcome with clear heart, clear mind, and a win-win mindset.
Okay, thank you. Final thoughts. Don't worry, final thought. Okay, I will go to Eddie, your final thought. 1 minute, we're wrapping up. Go for it.
Well, thanks firstly for the opportunity given me and the privilege from my government to be on this platform today. Yeah. Being on this platform is a great opportunity for every one of us. I say this so as to encourage you to come to Liberia, not just by saying it, but by good security standard. When it comes to Liberia, people hear about war. Yes, we went through 14 years of civil war. But Liberia today is a peaceful state. We are peaceful, we are loving, we are sweet. Our gold is the best gold I can assure you, especially the one from the Southeast. Is very heavy, it's good, high quality. I think I got one on my neck here. And
Okay.
that's Liberia. Gold is so cheap that anyone, the lowest or the least, the man earning $50 US can buy a gold chain to wear.
Oh, great.
Because you can get gold chain for $100.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
great.
I can tell you it's cheap. So Liberia is a very fertile land. Okay. We have the crude oil, we have the diamond, we have the best river here. And you know, once you got the best river, you got the best minerals.
Final word. Otherwise, if you talk too much, you will pay me for it. Because I'm happy that you work with the Ministry of Finance. Thank you so much, Eddie. Good to have you. It's really a pleasure having you there. I really enjoy every bit of this.
I appreciate
I will move to Debola Adetola now for his own closing remarks. Over to you, sir.
Okay. What I will say here is this: is first of all to address our leaders to say, I mean, they should show sincere commitment, yeah, and to look at a situation where, if sincerely they want to transform the economy, mining should be given much more seriousness. I mean, we know what I saw what they call it, the GDP allocation of mining for Nigeria, and I was asking myself, they don't even know what they're talking about, because we know what the GDP of mining here in South Africa is. So we just need to get our house in order. We need to engage, professionals, competent professionals, and and make sure that we shouldn't be the one looking for investors. This is the investors that should come to us when your house is in order.
Yeah,
that's my take home.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. That was a very, very, very nice one there. The closing remark: investors should be looking for us, but we need to set our house in order. Very profound. Okay, I will go to the lady in the house. Thank you so much, Bosse, for really making this time. If you can give your final word, and if you don't mind, if you can just put on your camera so that we can see your face as we close the webinar. Okay, we can see now. Okay, you can give your closing remarks now.
Okay, thank you, everybody. And I would just like to say Nigeria is the place to be now. A lot of focus is being placed in the mining sector, which the enabling environment is there. So and that has helped us as Dukia Gold to thrive. And we're now an aggregator of gold. And there's the need for cooperation within African countries, such that Nigeria and Ghana can trade. If there's supply from Ghana for the refinery, we can offtake in Nigeria. And if there is in Nigeria, it can go either way. So Liberia needs infrastructure. We can cooperate and see how we can develop together. Because the reality is nobody is going to do it for us. We need to look inward and see ourselves as partners, not as rivals. And then let's build it first inwards, and then we can take that outside. As Dukia Gold, we will continue to welcome and cooperate with people, with countries, and we'll see how we can take this forward. Something that Bola raised about building the structures, the regulatory institutions, is something that is being looked at in Nigeria. We're working with government also, because it's something that must be fixed.
Yes.
Because otherwise, once the study is done, you must look for someone like Adebola that is in South Africa to come and put his signature or stamp on it before it is seen. But most times we don't even look within Africa, we go outside. So
we go outside.
It's costing us a lot of foreign exchange also, because you need to pay for all that. So we can do it, and it's this kind of events that can breed the discussions that we can then all use to work towards what we desire. So I thank you for the opportunity, and I will say that Dukia Gold is a local marketplace, not for Nigeria, but for Africa. And the platform is there to serve us all. And we can reach anybody, or people can reach us from wherever they are. And we would be ready to render necessary service. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. And I will just say my own final remarks is this. We live in an era of African continental free trade. This is an era where African countries are meant to trade with one another. So I don't want us to waste the opportunity. I mean, just like Bosse said, we need to just collaborate. to not to compete. Somebody said to me recently, I said the new word, buzzword now is cooperation, not competition. Cooperation. That is, you need to cooperate, not necessarily compete. So it's competition. We need to be in a position whereby we cooperate with one another. And I tell you, for those people who are actually experts in the mining industry, I think one thing you must do in order to take full advantage of what the African Continental Free Trade has to offer is to be able to come together and really galvanize support for one another and have a unifying force to be able to say, okay, this is how mining should be done in Africa. Why? Because the protocols are there, the legal frameworks are there for the African Continental Free Trade to take shape. But what is your sector doing to really make sure that you also are able to take part in what this initiative of the African Union Commission is all about? And I think for me, this is our platform. This is what our platform is meant to promote intra-African trade. And we are not just talking it, we are doing it. And some of you are still going to see me in your countries, in Ghana, in Liberia, and in my own country, Nigeria. We are coming. And we are going to have a lot of background discussion. This is not the end of the webinar, even though we are offline now. We are going to be in touch to make sure that we connect the dots and really actually put all these things into practice. So we need to take advantage of this for our continent. I want to thank everyone for coming. I really appreciate you. The recorded version of this webinar will be made available, and then we are going to send to those who have registered but who were not able to make it. Also, we live stream this event on our Facebook, Unlocking African Market Facebook, and you can play it, you can replay it and listen to it one more time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. We can take more questions. People are trying to pop in questions, but I think we need to go now. I really appreciate everyone. So on a final note for me, like I was able to actually display what we do at the Unlocking African Market. In case you or your company would like to know more about this, that is our detail. We're on the 3rd floor, based here in Cape Town, and that's our office number there. Give us a call and let's see what we can do together. Thank you so much. I love you all. I really appreciate your time. Okay.
Thanks, you.
Bye-bye from Cape Town.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you to our participants as well. We appreciate all of you. Okay.